Hi, today we're going to take a look at special right triangles, 30, 60, and 91s. So if you have a right triangle, you could always use the Pythagorean theorem to find your missing sides. But sometimes there's these special cases that just have these patterns that just work. So we have 45, 45, 90 triangles, which are one thing, and this is another pair of 30, 60, 90 types. Now, there's relationships that happen all over. So first off, I have a triangle. Now, within this right triangle, we have three different sides. Across from the right angle is called the hypotenuse. Then we have two legs. I'm going to break that down into a short leg and a long leg. Down here on the bottom, we call this short, and off to the side here, we call that long. Now, there's a relationship with all of these. So if you know one, you can kind of bounce your way around and find the other. So if I know my short leg, if I want to go to my hypotenuse, I just got to double that number, multiply by 2. If I know my short leg and I want to find my long, I just have to multiply it by a radical 3. And then again, if I know my hypotenuse, come down here, I divide it by 2, and then I can come over here. If I know this, divide by radical 3. So there's this big cycle, and let's take a look at a few of them. Okay, so within our triangle, I have a right triangle. I know I have 30 degrees here. Within a triangle, everything has to add up to 180. Add these two up. The last thing we're left with is 60. Cool. Okay. We know, in this case, the short leg. I want to figure out what my hypotenuse is. So from short to hypotenuse, all I have to do is double that number. I have to multiply it by 2. So I'm going to say 5 times 2, which gives us 10. Over to get this way, to my long leg, all I have to do is multiply by radical 3. So I'm going to say 5, multiply by radical 3, done. Middle one here. Now I know my hypotenuse. My hypotenuse is 18. If I do 2 times mystery number, if I divide it by 2, I'm left with my short leg. So let's take this 18, let's cut it in half. We're left with 9. Okay, if I want to move from my short leg to my long leg, short to long, all I have to do is multiply by radical 3. 9 radical 3, done. Here's where things get a little weird, and again, 30. Okay, let's keep going. If I have 30, that's got to be 60. Here's my hypotenuse. I have my long leg. My long leg is 10. In order to go from, say, here to here, I have to make a pit stop at my short leg. So let's go from long to short. Long to short means I have a radical 3 up there. I have to divide by radical 3 to get down here. So I'm going to kind of do some work off to the side here. We're going to say 10 divided by radical 3. Well, that's what we're left. I guess there's not much work we got to do there. There's your short leg. In order to go from short to hypotenuse, we have to multiply by 2. From short to hypotenuse, all you have to do is multiply by 2. So there I'm going to say 2 times 10 radical 3. Do that. 2 times 10 gives me 20. I can leave that radical 3 down there in the bottom. Who cares? That's my F. Okay, so I kind of have a similar setup this time with radical 7 up here. Having radicals within our problem kind of complicates things a little bit. But let's see where this goes. If I have my long leg, I got to stop at my short leg first. So if I'm going from long to short, I have to divide by radical 3. So over here, I'm going to say 3 radical 7 divided by radical 3. And unfortunately, so this 3 and the top 3 and the bottom 3, I cannot cancel out. One's not in a house, one's in a house. They're two separate things, two completely different numbers. 7 and 3, they don't simplify, so we can just leave them as ugly as they are, like that. Now, if I want to go from short to hypotenuse, I have to multiply my short leg by 2. So let's take this number, multiply it by 2. We're going to say 2 times 3 radical 7 over radical 3. I'd like to turn that back into a fraction. And now we can put some things together. I can say 2 times just 3, which gives us 6. 2 and 3. Radical 7 comes for the ride. Radical 3 stays the same, and I can't simplify any of this. So there's your missing hypotenuse and the work for it. And that's using special right triangles, 30, 60, 90.